Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 445. I'm Laura, also known as Lola.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is Tuesday, June the 25th.
I know, the month's almost over. It's crazy.
Yep. 2019. That's the year. Yeah. It's Tuesday. I just got it from a nap. Laura's dog's being a jerk.
Well, there's that always.
That's pretty much standard.
That's all we got.
Yeah, sorry, nothing witty this week, I don't think.
Gearing up for SSK.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
Well, I hear that
the word on the screen.
I'm mean and I make you go first all the time, so I will go first. I don't have a ton to show. So I did cast on a sock out of I think this was called Pizza Party, Pizza something. This was a colorway. This is a Knit Spin Farm sport weight, self-striping in the Targi sport. Yeah, it was Pizza something. It's part of her unusual holidays or something. And I decided I was going to try this on a 9-inch needle.
How's that going?
I don't love it, but I don't hate the stockinette as much as I hated the ribbing.
I would say, so those needles, the 9-inch needles, aren't very sharp.
No, they're not. And
they're pretty hard to, for my hands at least, to manage, so ribbing is much harder.
The needle itself is this long.
It's like an inch and a half.
Yeah, maybe an inch and a half. This is the entire shaft of the needle. So, for somebody like me that holds the needle, usually when I'm knitting, I hold the needle with all of my fingers, my whole hand. It is an adjustment, but I wanted to at least try a whole sock.
Yeah, you don't know that you don't like something until you try it.
Yeah. So
I'm glad you're giving it a big chance.
Not convinced, but it's not as terrible as it was before. So,
a rousing endorsement.
Not as terrible as it was before. So again, and I just cast on 56 stitches. I'm not following a pattern.
That's a size 2, right?
This is a size 3.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not you. And I can knit sport weight on size 3s.
Well, I have to knit sport weight on size 1s, so.
So there's that.
There is that.
And then I swatched and cast on for the Weekender.
Oh, cool.
This is probably everyone in the knitting world knows this pattern.
It's an Andrea Mowry pattern.
And it's been hugely popular over the past year. It's sort of boxy style. It's it's meant to have a lot of positive ease, and it's very just sort of comfortable.
It was featured a lot in Christy Glass's Rhinebeck sweater video this past year.
Yeah, it's got this
really pretty
sort of ribbed 3-needle bind off at the shoulder. So, I mean, it's a relatively simple pattern. It is, when finished, the purl side is out facing, but she does have you knit it just with a knit stitch, and then you just flip it around.
Oh, that's clever.
So the way that this particular item is begun is you do tubular cast on for the back ribbing, and then you do a tubular cast on for the front ribbing, which is shorter by about 3/4 of an inch, and then you join them together and just go in the round. So you've got like a split hem with your ribbing at the end, which is fine. So that's what I'm working on right now. I finished the back ribbing.
You're knitting this out of cotton.
I am.
And that's not, doesn't the pattern call for like Aran weight?
It calls for a worsted.
Okay. This
is a DK weight. But because A, I'm not knitting this for warmth, because I never need help with that. And B, because it's a pretty drapey sweater or fabric, I got gauge very easily with a DK. So this is the back. It's like 2 2/4. I'm sorry, that would be 2 1/2. It's like 2 1/4. Sorry, it looked like I dropped a stitch there, but I didn't. It was just a wonky looking. So this is on waste yarn, and then this is...
It's on a needle holder, right?
Yeah, sorry, it is. I'm using the Jimmy Bean Smart Sticks, and they're like the knit picks, so they have like the little caps on the end that you can...
The Licka needles have that too.
So I have to knit this one until it's like 1.5 inches, so I've got maybe 3 or 4 more rows on this one, and then I'll join it in the round.
Do you join it like after the arm?
No, just after the ribbing. So you just have a split. So it's only the ribbing that's split. After that, the whole body is in the round up to the armpits.
Okay. Oh, you're working from the bottom.
The bottom up.
Okay.
Yes.
I was super confused because I was like, how does this work?
No, it's
because every sweater I've been knitting lately has been top
down. Yeah, no. Yeah. This one's bottom up. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm actually using the needle sizes that it calls for because I went down in the weight of the yarn, and so to get gauge I had to stick with the needle size it listed. Usually I go up a needle size, but so it's 7, 8, and 9. 7 for the bind or the cast on, 8 for the ribbing, and then 9 for the body.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it.
So you got those 2 things on the needle, so that's pretty cool. And that's the Cloudborn cotton?
This is the Cloudborn Pima DK cotton. It was a Blueprint, Craftsy. It's their brand. So, and I originally got it for the
Laura Nelkin sweater,
the
right?
Novelty, which was a Laura Nelkin sweater. But I had put it down, and then when I went to pick it back up, I realized how insanely tight the gauge was. Like, I'm knitting this now on 7, 8, and 9. I was knitting that on a 4, so it was like bulletproof. It would have had no drape whatsoever. So I just ripped it out, and instead of, fixing my gauge, I just figured I'd start something new.
Okay.
So
I have 3 things on the needles. They're the same 3 things I've been working on for forever, but I did start my healing creases.
The last thing you cast on last week.
That's true. I feel like I've been working on them forever. These are the Rose City Rollers from the Toe Up. I'm using a Wendy Knits Gusset Heel, so I just started increasing for my gusset back in this blue. When you guys saw this, it was still in the black. Like, I had just gotten to the purple. So I got a stripe and a half done.
Counts.
Yeah. I went out to lunch with a work buddy today, so her little girl is 7 and she's obsessed with knitting, so she was like, you need to take out your sock and start knitting, because she knows I always have a sock. And then she asked me, this is my friend that I knit a lot of stuff for at the end of the year, if I could knit more things for Catherine, that's the new baby's name, before she gets here. She's due like late August, because she likes using them as doll clothes on her American Girl doll.
Nice.
So I was like, yes, I will take care of you. I will knit her some little, because she was like, my American Girl doll does not have shoes because I lost them. So she needs something for her feet. So I might knit some baby Rose City Rollers as well.
There's some super cute, like, I forget what they're called, but they are basically just T-shaped, and then you fold the 2 edges down and you seam it, and it makes a booty. It's super easy.
Yeah, you totally lost me at seaming, but yeah. There's a pattern for little Rose City Rollers.
Okay. Whatever.
And I'll have some yarn left over from this. So, this is the second one. Here's the first. Ava tried to steal. That's a 7-year-old. The first one today. And then she told me that I couldn't be on the blue because I should be on the purple, meaning I should be done. But I'm getting there. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strips left to go. So hopefully I'll get those done by the end of the month. And then I'll have some new socks. I've been wearing a lot, like my other Rose City Rollers, I've been wearing all the time. So they make great summer socks. This is Knit Picks Felici in the dark rainbow colorway, I believe. Dark side, I think, yeah. And I'm knitting them on size 0 needles. Speaking of needles, I broke some needles on my sock machine, so until Leslie comes over to fix it.
It's like a 2-second fix, I promise.
And we bought extra needles on purpose. I have stopped cranking, but also I need to stop cranking because I want to play with the gauge. That's what I was doing, was I was playing on the gauge with it, so that's probably how I broke it.
That might have, yeah.
And this is, my socks are living in a fat squirrel bag.
And the sock machine we have is an Earlbat Gerhardt Speedster.
Yeah.
Someone's going to ask.
Yep. And it's linked in the show notes, which you can find on the Knit Girls with 3Ls.com.
You made some good progress on that.
Yeah. I haven't knit on it today, but I need to. This is the
Stevie?
Yep, by Elizabeth Smith, I believe. I'm knitting it on size 6 needles. It calls for a size 8. This is an Aran Weight cotton blend.
Oh my god, you're knitting an Aran Weight on a 6?
It is the Barocco Remix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have this much left on the 3rd ball. I have 7 balls. I'm adding length to this. And I'm adding like 3/4 sleeves because I think this will be a good fall transition piece for me.
So this is just a very simple...
It's a top-down raglan.
It's styled as sort of cropped almost, but Laura's going to give it some length.
So it is an A-line shape. So one modification that I made was I knit 5.5 inches before I started these increases that are happening. To make it more A-line, I wanted to, and those happen every, like, 8th row, so it's a slow increase, but, like, basically every 8th row you're increasing an inch on the diameter of the circumference of the sweater. So,
I thought you said it only had this on the front.
No, I thought so, but then I actually read the pattern.
Oh, okay.
And I was wrong. I also didn't have the 2 stitch markers. I was very confused for a second because... I had to go back and actually read the pattern and realize that I was supposed to put stitch markers on either side of the stitches that I cast on for the underarm. Anyway, so instead of starting at like 2.5 inches, I started a little bit longer. The largest size, I'm doing the second to largest size, the length on that is 14.5 inches. I need 19 inches, so I didn't want to start at the same point and have like a huge bell shape. So I'm excited to see. I'm liking the remix. I'm glad I'm using my Lick needles with it because it can be a little bit splitty at times. I have had a skein with 1 knot, but that's been it out of 2.5 skeins.
If I remember knitting with that, it was every now and then you would come across like a bit of vegetable matter, like grass or something.
So these are recycled fibers.
Yeah.
So it is
there's like silk and cotton and
30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic. So it is mostly man-made oil-based products, and then 10% silk, 9% linen. Yeah. I'm interested to see how it wears over time. Because sometimes, like, when I'm knitting it, I'll look down at my shirt and I've got, like, stuff on me. So I'm interested to see how it wears, but also, like, how it does in our climate. Because it is a heavier weight yarn. And they do sell a light version of this yarn as well. It's more of a sport weight.
Yeah, I have some of that right here in my bag because I was going to swatch with it, but I couldn't figure out what I wanted.
I have that same color. Yeah, no, that's a blue. I have pepper or something. Cracked pepper.
Yeah, yours is more of a gray. This one...
Yeah. That's shocking.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
It doesn't have a colorway. I mean, it's got a number, but...
Yeah. I think a lot of their distributors add color.
That's smart.
And then, where there might be, like, actual names on the color cards and not. I don't know. And then I have my V-neck boxy.
That is so bright, you can see it from space.
I know. I only got 2 rows. I think 2 rows. I put this Tilted Planet stitch marker in here. I got 3 rows done since Thursday when we recorded last. It's Tuesday today. So, a smidge of work, but not a ton. I do need to pick up the pace on this in the next couple days because this is my owl. And in order to get 15%, I need to get 2 full skeins knit.
15 or 50?
50.
Oh, you said 15.
I was
like, I feel like you're way past 15.
I need to get 2 skeins knit, and I'm not quite there yet. So. But I will.
That color. The color's great.
I know. This is Loop.
The Yin Yang.
Her Yin Yang fingering weight base. I think it's in the Kiss Kiss colorway. Yeah, or Kiss. And this was sent to us for review, but I'm really, really enjoying working with it.
I have some as well that she sent for review, but I didn't want us to both be working on that yarn at the same time.
I think that would have been fun. What are you planning on doing with yours?
I am going to knit a different Hoagie Locatelli pattern. It's called the lounging top, and it's just it's very short sleeve, and you wear like a long sleeve shirt under it, so it works for me. Like that's my version of a sweater for the fall. Yeah, this is the body colorway, and the opposite colorway is like Soul, I think.
Yeah, it's a dark brown with light.
Yeah, with red. It's sort of it is sort of a maroony brown red. But it's a color I'll wear, so.
Yeah. And I'm knitting my V-neck boxy on size 3 needles. So yeah, that's all I have on the needles. I didn't finish anything this week.
I have a finished object from last week.
Yeah, show it.
So this is the ISA sweater. I need to go back and trim all the ends. I've woven them in, but I like to leave a little bit of length, especially with linen, when I block it, so that when it stretches out, the ends, they'll pull down into the piece, and then I can trim them right at the edge of the fabric. So it's just a simple V-neck. It's identical on the front and the back. You know, it's short sleeves because the sleeves are knit at the same time as the body.
Yeah.
And then you pick up and knit like 4 rows, just enough to give it a little bit of straight, so it doesn't roll.
So have you tried it on and worn it at all?
I've tried it on and it fits fine. I wish I had knit another maybe inch, but I'm also one of those fat girls who always wants to pull things down, whether they need it or not, so I don't think I'd be happy no matter what length I put it. But, I mean, it is comfortable. It fits fine. Yeah. It's just, I would probably have knit it just a smidge longer, but it's plenty fine for me to wear, so I'm happy about that.
How did you like working with that yarn?
I didn't love it because it's an I-cord chainette construction, and I've worked with that type of yarn before because they're Quinson Company's Kestrel, their Aran weight is a chainette construction like that. But I didn't have the problems that I did with this Shibui knits. 2 or 3 of the skeins, not all of them, but 2 or 3 of them had several spots where the yarn was already split, like one little section of the thread had broken, and so it immediately starts unraveling. And there's really not a great way to fix that besides, you know, ripping back a little bit and then, you know, snipping the edge, and then you got 2 more ends to weave in. So I had like 7 or 8 spots on this sweater where I had to weave in ends that I shouldn't have had to because of the yarn. But, you know, it's done. It is what it is. I don't know that I would buy it again just because for the cost of Shibui Knits Reed, I feel like I shouldn't have that many problems. Like if I bought this like from a Knit Pick sale where I paid $2 a ball, it'd be very different. I'd have a different level of expectation, but this stuff's like 19 bucks a ball. So anyway, but yeah, I'm happy with it. It'll be in the SSK Try It On room.
Cool.
And I believe with that is my last like garment goal for SSK.
Oh, good for you.
So now pressure's off. I'm just knitting what I want to knit. That makes me happy. So
I have 2 more garment goals to get through.
For SSK?
Well, this and the Stevie.
You want both of those done for SSK?
Yeah. We'll see.
Nothing like waiting until the last minute, my friend.
I mean, I did cast on the loop sweater like over a month ago.
You didn't get the yarn until Maryland.
Yeah. Maryland was the first weekend.
But still.
Yeah.
I started this like, well, in my head, I started this process like in December. But I didn't know that I'd get as much done as I did, though, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah. And you have a lot of sewn stuff, too.
I do, yeah. Oh, I don't think I've actually shown this. This was, it just happens to be up here. To keep readjusting here. So this is the squarish. I re-dyed it, and it's a darker gray now. The first time when I knit it out of Nettle Grove, it was sort of that greenish, yellowish color. It ended up looking sort of like mermaid scales. when it was, well, half of it did. The other half looked like a normal colorway. So I used RIT, R-I-T. They have this product that will take color out of natural fibers like cotton and silk. And this had cotton and silk and nettle, and the other thing I think was a man-made fiber. So I wasn't as confident that it would get that color out, but it almost bleached it. Like, it sucked that color right out. Huh. It was really cool. And it's just like a powder that you dissolve. And it was really quick. And then I used just RIT black fabric dye for, you know, cottons, and overdyed. I overdyed this twice to get it as dark as it is. So it looks, I mean, it looks like it was knit as a gray tunic, so I'm happy with that. Again, yeah. It's intended to be cropped, so it's the length it should be, but, you know, like most women, I'm constantly pulling things down, so there's that. And then this is the top that I sewed with Cal Patch when I went to when we took the classes at Stitches United in Atlanta. There wasn't time to do all the finishing and everything with Cal, so we did, you know, most of the drafting and the basic stitches. So this fabric is one that I got from like Joann's. It's like rayon, but not rayon. I forget what it is. It's a man-made fabric, and it's like shiny and drapey. Wow, that camera went super dark.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Because I had this up, I think. But it's a, you know, pretty simple A-line boxy top. That's what it's called, the boxy top, and I added pockets on the side here. I did the bias edging, and all the seams are French seams, so they're all tucked in there nicely, and the ends are enclosed. So
that camera is not going back.
It'll pop back in a minute. If I had thought about it, I would have gotten a fabric that wasn't quite so, with a less obvious pattern to it. Mm-hmm. You know, more abstract. But
you can always make it again.
I didn't really think about it when I was cutting it, so I'm just kind of grateful that the pattern goes both ways, because otherwise it would be a mess. I didn't worry too much about lining things up at the seams or any of that, because whatever. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was really easy, and I've got the pattern, I've got the muslin, so I can recreate it, so that makes me happy. This is a nice light top I'll be able to wear at SSK as well. This thing is not going to go back. Come on, focus. There we go. Look at that. Magic.
You are magic. Good for you. Do you have any spinning?
Nope. Did you bring over your, like, millions of pounds of spinning?
I mean, it's not millions of pounds, but I brought what I had forgotten last week, and then plus some for this week.
So it'll be a lot.
No, it's just a smidge.
I'm not complaining, because your spinning is really pretty.
Thank you.
You just get a lot of spinning done, especially in the summer.
Well, it's just 4 things.
It's just 4 things. It's just a pound of fiber.
It's not a pound. It's under a pound.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Thank you. This is for my sister, actually.
Stop the pigeon.
So this was the Hello Yarn colorway. Both of my Hello Yarns, I have 2 things that I spun. Both of them were club colorways, and both of them I 3-plied. So this was based on a Dastardly and Muttley song, a cartoon from the 70s called Stop the Pigeon, but it's supposed to look like a pigeon. When I divided the braid, when I divide braids for 3-plies, I don't divide like this. I tend to like lay it out like a giant snake and then fold it back in on itself and look at it. And what ended up happening was I had like the full color progression 3 times. So for 2 of those, I spun from like the blue on, and then I flipped it for the last one because I wanted the pink. I didn't want it to be a gradient. I wanted the pink to run throughout the whole thing. And it does for the most part, so I kind of fractaled it, I guess. Well, fractaling's when you divide it more. Nope. I just flipped it around. So I spun end to end of those smaller sections, but then flipped one of them around. So that pink is more throughout the whole thing. It is 221 yards of a 3-ply. This is Falkland.
Why is it for your sister?
Because it's got pigeon in the name.
Oh, okay.
My sister has tattoos of pigeons right here.
Instead of like doves, I think is what people usually get. She got pigeons.
She's my sister.
She got it the same day I got that one.
Yep. And then the other Hello yarn that I spun is a Fluttering of Ravens. This is 250 yards of a 3-ply, so a little bit more towards the DK weight spectrum. It is Charlois.
I don't know how to say that word.
Charollalais, which is a breed of sheep it has almost a down feel to it. Almost a little bit crunchy. This will be good for like mittens, maybe socks. Mm-hmm. It's not super washed.
Yeah, it feels like it would be a hard wearing.
Yeah.
But it's not scratchy. So.
No, it's not. And it also has lots of pearl hair on it. So this one's going to be for me.
It's like a purpley gray.
Yeah, with some dark navy. Both of them have dark navy in them. And those are like the last 2 shipments, I think. So I think I'm catching up. This was the March 2019 monthly bat club from Knit Spin Farm. This is Chill Sweetening. It's a Targhee Cheviot Kent Romney. I love Kent Romney. It's one of my favorites. Cordell Silk, Silk, and Silk Noil blend. I spun it long draw on the Shack Reeves. The other 2 were spun on the Lundrum upright. And this was 197 yards of that 2-ply. It is 3 ounces, roundabout. But it's nice and soft and airy. Whoop, that's going to be a prize at SSK.
So is this woolen spun?
Yeah. So this is going to SSK as one of the door prizes. The SSK prizes. I just need to make sure I pack it. And then the last little bit of spinning I have is...
I saw that hanging on the little dog door.
Yeah.
So pretty.
So Hip String sent us a little bat that was wrapped around chocolate at Easter time. And it's maybe an ounce. So I spun
really
that up.
Pretty, though.
It's white with this pops of teal and the silver glitter in it. It's very frozen.
I'm going to have to get some at SSK if they have it.
This was a handmade bat, so I don't know if she's selling.
She didn't offer to share this with me, by the way.
This 1 ounce bat.
I just want to put that out there for Jill and Nick.
That was sent to my house.
I did not get that.
You got chocolate, though.
But I wasn't offered any of this. Laura was like, you can have that chocolate.
Which, it's my favorite brand of chocolate, Ceres's chocolate.
But it was white chocolate.
Yeah,
I
don't eat white chocolate, so Leslie ate all the chocolate and I got the bat. This is 62 yards of a chain ply. Chain ply is similar to a 3-ply. And, yeah, it's nice and pretty. It'll do a good baby hat, I think.
I feel like that color would be a great accent for another hand spun.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
A richer color, it would be a really great accent.
Yeah. Like the other Knit Spin Farm blues gradient bats, maybe. Yeah, I agree. So that is the hand spun. I do have another Knit Spin Farm bat that's drying at my house. I didn't get it quite over. And what I'm working on right now is some Enchanted Knoll batlings, and I found out she's not doing bats anymore, and that made me super duper sad. So I'm using up the one bat of hers that I have.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I have more Enchanted Knoll than you do. I think
I just had
because I was in her club for like, I don't know, 3 months or 6 months or something.
Yeah.
So I think I have about half a dozen of hers.
Yeah.
I always loved her color combos. They were really,
yeah.
like, you couldn't predict them. They were always different.
These are blacks with different color glitters. Like there's a peacock one, a phoenix one. The phoenix one's black, and it feels like an alpaca silk merino blend with red glitter in it.
But it's like 6 little nestlets, and each one is different.
Yeah.
Color mixture.
And I'm spinning them as 2-plies, so I can do something with them all, or split them up and add them to other things if I need to. So yeah, that's it for me for spinning. You've been reading still?
Not a lot. I'm still reading the Natural Mage book by K.F. Breen. I just haven't been reading as much or listening to audiobooks as much this past week. I forgot to put one on there. I did listen to a sci-fi book. Let me look and see what it was called. I'm listening to Discount Armageddon right now, which is an encrypted. It's a paranormal.
It's like cryptoid.
Yeah. So turn off the sleep timer. Thank you. So this is what I listened to. It's called All Gifts Bestowed. by Joshua Gayu. It was narrated by R.C. Bray, who I really like as a narrator. And it was sort of artificial intelligence sci-fi. It wasn't not like super far into the future, but science fiction. It was okay. I mean, I felt a little like they could have gone a lot further with the book, because it felt like they ended in the middle and there's no follow-up book. So I mean, it was good, but I
there's no follow-up book yet, or it was written quite a while ago?
I don't know. I didn't like, I was annoyed, so I didn't even go and look.
Okay. Just move my progress marker.
But yeah, so that's pretty much all that I've been reading and listening to.
Yeah, I'm still listening to Small Spaces by Catherine Arden and Solace by Gail Carriger. I re-upped I hadn't been an Acorn subscriber, which is a British streaming service. Like, it's a lot of British murder mysteries for a while, and the new season of a show called Brokenwood was launched. So I re-upped that, and while I was on there, I started rewatching Brokenwood from the beginning. They're like, each season's like 4 episodes, but they're an hour and a half long.
Mm-hmm.
And I also watched a new series for them, which is Queens of Mystery, which reminds me a lot of Pushing Daisies and how it's narrated.
Never watched it.
Oh, I like Pushing Daisies. But yeah, it was good. If you're looking for like a cozy mystery series, that is also just 6 episodes, and each episode is like really half an episode. So really and they're 45 minutes. So really it's 3 hour-and-a-half long episodes. Good, but I wish there was more. I was looking for more. So that's about it for that. We have SSK coming up, and that will be in July. The market is this Saturday, I think it's July 20th. And you guys can, if you're in the Nashville area, that's listed on the Super Summer Knit Together website.
It's the 20th, yeah.
Okay. And it will be open to the general public for $5 in the afternoon. If you come and join us in the afternoon, are you okay?
I was just thinking, in 3 weeks today, we'll be there.
Yeah.
Like, prepping goodie bags and stuff. Okay.
Did it sneak up on you?
It did. Like, even though, like, the last couple months before SSK is always really busy because we're doing all the final, like, making sure that, you know, the order of this came in and that this gets delivered to Scarrett Bennett, and that we have, like, I've still got a list of, like, 7 things we have to do in the Nashville area prior to the event. So, it's too busy at work. Usually it's not as busy at work, so I can get some more of this stuff done, but whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. We're still doing Stash Stash. Stash Stash is our annual, what's really Laura's annual, like, summer knit down. Try to get some yarn out of the stash so that you can buy more yarn to replenish it.
Or just enjoy your stash time.
Mm-hmm. And you set your own goals and stuff. So there's a whole board, or there's a whole, like, page for it on our Knit Girls group on Ravelry. So we won't rehash that. We did our Patreon fail along.
We did. We painted, and it was amazing. And that Leslie painted for an hour and a half, and I painted for 30 minutes.
It was a lot of, like, mixing colors and the frustration of having one paintbrush to both mix colors and paint with and try something new while you're trying to entertain people that are watching you. I feel like they should have just sent me the colors finished, and then it would have been better. But, like, it's something...
There was a lot of color mixing.
Yeah. And failing, because I'm terrible with color theory. This is not something that's a surprise. Every time I learn something about color theory, and I'm like, dude, I got this. I sleep, and then I'm like, what? So,
there's going to be a breakout maybe at SSK in color theory.
I'll remember it for that day, and then I'll wake up, and I'll completely forget it again.
I need to... start getting the breakouts taken care of. I think I'll work on that tomorrow. So they require their own schedule.
What else?
So we have a VKN this Sunday on the 30th, and it will be at 3 p.m. Central Time. If you're a Patreon supporter that has access to that, we hope that you can join us. It's lots of fun. Give me some good knitting time.
There's no Drag Race to talk about, so we'll have to talk about something else.
I know. Not yet. It's like the 2-month lull of Drag Race.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we'll come up with something.
And it's the last one before SSK.
Yeah, the last VKN.
Yeah.
We'll have one the week after SSK is over. And we'll have to do our fail along in July pretty early on.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get Amy Florence to participate in the fail along too.
That would be nice if she comes before. She's still figuring out her schedule, so we'll see if she can make it. That would be awesome. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the announcement that Ravelry made. If you have no interest in hearing anything politic related or anything related to the topic of the Ravelry announcement they made this week about banning speech about Donald Trump and related topics, then feel free to end here.
Yep.
We're not going to talk very long about it because Laura and I both, we're both pretty liberal people, but we also recognize that we speak from a position of privilege as white women.
Always.
So we want to touch on the topic, but not try to be the touch point for the topic because it's not about us.
There are lots of people doing amazing work on that, and normally we would link those people, but because of some of the dangerous things that are happening with this, we don't want to give people a target.
Yeah.
So we're not going to link people in this discussion because of that.
But it is relatively easy to find those people through other people's stories on Instagram or through their blogs or what have you. Or if you want to contact one of us directly, you're better off contacting Laura because she'll know right off the bat. I'll have to do some digging. Just because Laura is more involved in social media than I am by a huge number.
Leslie hasn't been on Instagram in 4 months.
Yeah, I don't go unless Laura links me to something specific. So it's too much for me mentally. Anyway, that's not what this is about.
So, background on this announcement. Earlier in the week, I would say maybe Thursday or Friday, it was brought to Ravelry's attention that a pattern designer had posted a pro-Trump pattern, and when a specific person reported that, so Ravelry, for those of you who don't know, is a privately owned company. It's run by Casey and Jess and around 4 other employees.
Yeah, it's single digits. It's like half a dozen maybe.
They work basically with volunteers who help mod their posts. Like Leslie and our moderators in our group, we have some other moderators who step up. But the majority of Ravelry is run by volunteer moderators. As a designer, I know if someone leaves a comment on one of my patterns or reports one of my patterns, I get notified a copy of that report. So it has the person's name on it, it has whatever they've typed about it, and that's sent to both the designer and Ravelry. Right. In this case, the designer took it upon herself, or themselves, because I'm not sure about gender, to use that report to, I'm going to forget the name of what that's called,
Doxing.
that word. To dock that person.
DOXING. This was a new word to me.
And I hadn't heard it before this. Anyways, basically it's taking someone's personal information and using it on the internet, whether it's their address, their phone number, their email address, with
malicious intent.
Not a great intent.
Right.
And so she shared that information with other people who were like-minded. And the person who reported the pattern ended up getting a lot of hate speech, both in their email inbox, their Ravelry inbox, and in their own personal life. Which obviously is not something, hate speech should never be occurring.
Right.
Especially on a forum like Ravelry. So Casey, who runs Ravelry with Jess, has been very sick and I guess hospitalized. And so what they immediately did was they gave people the ability to report patterns without a copy of that going anonymously.
Anonymously, so
a
the
copy
designer
going
wouldn't
to the designer.
Necessarily know that
who did it.
Right.
So that was the immediate fix. And then a couple days later, they posted an announcement, which we've linked on our show notes, which you can find on Ravelry's homepage, not our show notes, but the announcement.
Right.
But also you can find it linked on the knitgirls.com. And their policy is that while you can talk about politics, if you so choose, both conservative and liberal politics, they are placing a ban on all discussion that involves Donald Trump and any patterns that involve Donald Trump or anything that is Trump related. Essentially, I would like you to go read the announcement yourself, because while I can summarize it, anytime someone summarizes something, it has inherent bias to it.
This is true.
So I think it's better to read it from Ravelry.
Right. And I can see where they were coming from. I feel like it was a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction only because Donald Trump isn't the only problem. In regards to this, I'm making very general statements here. So, and I'll try to be as accurate as possible. Donald Trump is one particular area of hate speech. It surrounds conversations about him. So that's one particular area. So I think this is a place that they're starting.
Yep, it's a good starting point.
But I believe they're taking further steps in regards to, or they're looking to take further steps in regards to eliminating hate speech or discrimination within the community.
Yep.
Of Ravelry itself. Again, like Laura mentioned, Ravelry is a privately owned company, so the whole freedom of speech thing does not apply. That's actually only for government employees.
Or government use.
Yeah, sorry. So we just wanted to make a general statement about what it was. And
give you guys some background and allow you to read it yourself, because
correct.
Again, that is very important.
And just sort of say from us that we want to just thank the people from the community, the whole community at large, for fostering these
and Ravelry specifically
discussions about inclusion, privilege, inherent bias, and for places like Ravelry that offer safe spaces to have those conversations. Marginalizing any group of people based on certain characteristics, whether that's race, sexual orientation, gender,
size.
Yeah, any of these things, marginalizing people based on that is just not okay. It's not acceptable. And so in that vein, we're working on implementing just a very basic, like, don't be a jerk code of conduct for SSK.
Yes.
We're not trying to be your babysitters. We don't want to be your babysitters. We want to make sure... We want
to create a safe space for our attendees where everyone feels comfortable.
And we like to believe that we fostered no sort of exclusionary or discriminatory behaviors at our events or in our forums or anything like that.
In
but
our community at large.
If that's not the case, please reach out to us.
Yep.
We are certainly not...
we're two people from Mississippi who sit in a room and talk to a camera.
Two white women, you know, so we acknowledge that privilege, and we
definitely,
you know, we definitely want to do what we can do to help people that are marginalized not be marginalized.
Yep. And everyone to feel safe.
Yes. So again, we don't want this to be about us. It's not about us. So we're going to end on that point. But feel free to leave us a comment on the Ravelry thread if you have for this episode, if you want to have a conversation.
Or you can email either of us through the website, because I recognize that some people are no longer on Ravelry, so that might not be your best point of contact.
Yeah.
But if you leave a comment there's a comment section on our website. You're welcome to leave a comment there.
Or on YouTube.
Yeah.
We get a copy of all the YouTube comments. We don't usually reply unless there's a direct question in the thread, just because, you know, we both have full-time jobs, so there's only so much we can do. But
we do also recognize that this is a topic that people feel strongly about. So if we do reserve the right that if things get out of control in the comment section where there is personal attacks or a discussion that is getting more
less respectful.
Yes. That we do have the right to turn off comments or moderate those comments.
Yeah. Because again, it's about creating a safe space for people to have conversations. You can disagree, that's perfectly fine. Just don't be a jackass about it. That should be Ravelry's new policy. Don't be a jackass. Not jerk.
Be a jerk.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up. You guys have a lovely week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.